Good morning, my viewers all over the world. May the peace of Almighty God be with you all the days of your life. Shalom. The topic of today is about the senseless killing of one of our own, a 10-year-old black African boy that was executed in America. A 14-year-old boy that was electrocuted in the United States of America. And after 70 years of the execution of this little boy by name George Stepney. George Stepney was executed in America by a slave master's court of law. What was his offense? If you ask me, he was executed, electrocuted, with a higher voltage of 2,400 volts of electricity. This boy was executed. This little boy was accused of killing two white, beautiful American girls. That was his offense. It was alleged that he was the last person that saw those two American girls before the American girls was found dead. George Stepney was taken to arrested where he was playing with his little sister. He was arrested, beaten, handcuffed, taken to a court, and was found guilty in less than 10 minutes. You see why it looks as if I hate America? I keep telling people that if America is a toilet tissue, I will not use it to clean my anus. These people are heartless. The slave masters have seen that this boy is a black boy, so the only way to justify, or the only way to handle the issue of the two American girls is to put it on him, a 14-year-old boy. He was taken to a court, found guilty in less than 10 minutes, with about 1,500 white Americans, false witnesses, standing against this 14-year-old boy. During his execution, this boy cried unto God. He was holding the Holy Bible in his hands. He cried. He begged the magistrate. He begged the chief judge, who happened to be a Christian. He begged him. He said, "Sir, please, I'm sorry. I'm innocent. I know nothing about the mother of these two girls. I'm innocent. Have mercy, sir. My parents are not at home. They are not even aware of what is happening right now. My little sister is still somewhere playing at the backyard. But you know what? With over 1,500 false witnesses, George Sidney, a 14-year-old boy, was electrocuted with a Holy Bible in his hands. With a Holy Bible in his hands, he was electrocuted. What a shame. What a shame. What a hard way to die. Then, after 70 years of George Sidney execution, the same court of slave masters, now reviewed the case and start rendering an apology that the young boy was innocent after all. That this young boy was innocent after all. After 70 years of his execution, he cried, thinking that God will help him. False witnesses all over him. You see what the whites have done? This is one among many, so many, of crime committed by America. Slave masters. Slave masters. Another one will shock you. A husband and wife. A husband and his wife was killed on December 1951. On December 1951, Henry and Henrietta, his wife, celebrated their silver jubilee on December 1951. 25th of December 1951 was also a Christmas day. So they celebrated their Christmas and their silver jubilee. These people are freedom fighters. This husband and wife are good freedom fighters. Blacks. They are blacks. What is the offense? A bomb was planted under their bed. After the celebration, they went home. At night, the bomb exploded and killed Henry and Henrietta. You see why I keep telling you? The whites, the Caucasians, the slave masters never change. They are still the same yesterday, today, and forever. So if America is a toilet tissue, I will not use it to wipe my anus. You see how they killed George Floyd? You see how George Floyd was killed? Shouting, calling the name of his late mother to come and help him. Oh, mother, mother. These are blacks. These are blacks like me and you and so many others. Oh, I'm looking forward to see that day. That day that African nations will wake up. I look forward to see that day. A day that African nations will have one currency. I look forward unto that day that African nations will have one military, one army that can be able to withstand any military. US and China combined together. I look forward to see that day that the people, the white Caucasians from the United States of America, will be coming down to Africa to do a Getman work. Oh, I look forward to see that day. That day that American people will be coming to Nigeria to do menial jobs. Oh, I look forward to see that day. That day that American people will be coming to Africa for the American treatment. Oh, I look forward to see that day. That day. That day that African nation will speak with one voice. We speak with one voice. We speak with one voice. I look forward to see that day that China and America will be coming to Africa for a loan. For a loan. I look forward to see that day. That day that the eyes of my black men and women will be open for the realities on ground. For the realities on ground. May God bless the soul of George Sidney. May God bless the soul of Harry and Henrietta. May God bless the soul of all the black people, black men and women. Martin Luther King Jr. and so many freedom fighters that was killed by the Caucasians, that died at the hand of the slave masters. May their soul rest in peace. May Elohim bless African nation. May I am that I am and the ancient of days, the one that is and the one that is to come, bring down the mighty, the ego of the slave master. May God bless Africa. May God bless every man and women of goodwill. Shalom.
A 14-year-old living in Alcula, South Carolina. He and his family lived in a very small, working-class mill town where white and black neighborhoods were separated by railroad tracks. It was March 1944. Two young girls, 7-year-old Mary Thames and 11-year-old Betty Binnicker were found dead. Police were tipped off that the girls were seen talking to George and later showed up at his home and arrested him.
There was no real investigation done by the police. It was just assumed that either George Stinney or George Stinney and his brother committed this offense.
What happened next made history.
One of the most shocking things in the George Stinney case is he was tried by a jury of 12 white men. That certainly is not a jury of his peers. That's certainly not a cross-section of Clarendon County at the time, which was half African-American, half white. And here we have an all-white jury with his family not being even allowed into the courtroom.
The trial lasted only 2 hours, and the jury had a 10-minute deliberation. George was convicted of murder and sentenced to death by electric chair. There were 70 years of silence, and then in 2014, George's case came back in the spotlight when his family pushed for a retrial and high school students started researching the case.
And I think for all of us in my class, it was kind of like a starting fire for us to understand more of what we had to do to get justice for anyone and us as well.
It worked. A new trial was granted and the verdict was overturned, citing fundamental constitutional violations of due process.
We don't know whether or not he did it, but that wasn't the issue. It was whether or not his constitutional rights were preserved, and they weren't, and that was clear. And the further I got into it, the more I saw just how obvious and blatant it was that he wasn't afforded his constitutional protections.
George's family hopes his story can be a lesson for today's society as protests rage on for racial equality.
It was a wrongful killing. He was too young. They didn't give him a chance. Look at stuff that's going on up here now. They didn't give him a chance.
Earlier, Al and I spoke with a reporter in South Carolina to learn more about this case. Take a look.